Most people rely on the media to influence them of their own opinion, their own personal identities, their lives, their relationships, and to create a model on how they should enact their own masculinity or femininity. Calvin Klein is a common culprit of this, often using their advertising and media symbols in order to influence people. He started his company in the year 1968, and as soon as he became successful, used a young 15-year-old Brooke Shields. In these sets of advertisements, Shields was seen in an extremely provocative way, which people found inappropriate. Claiming that nothing came between her and her Calvins in the commercial, she was often seen either putting on a pair of jeans or even laying in unsuitable ways for a 15-year-old girl. Often throughout these commercials, she would position herself in ways that most people deemed inappropriate. These commercials were just the first of many red flags raised because of Calvin Klein advertising. Often the media uses both traditional and non-traditional parts of gender throughout their advertisements. Men are usually displayed as independent, serious, confident, competent, powerful, aggressive, in charge, and white to show the traditional aspect of masculinity. Females are usually displayed as young, thin, and preoccupied with men. This also follows the traditional look that females are given from the media. These images are often portrayed, usually not giving any of the characters true meaning. There is a non-traditional role displayed as well, sometimes hinting towards homosexuality between the people being photographed. Here, the men are seen as a large group wearing close to nothing. This is often not seen in the media and is very rare when it is. The social views of the models are also extremely relevant. These people are only seen with beautiful, desirable people. Often they are promiscuous with each other, not showing any boundaries when it comes to sex. None of them show any motivation and are seen only as objects. Our society looks up to people like this, wishing to be just like them. Throughout these advertisements, men are seen to dominate women by either holding them down, taking charge, or being sought after by these women. Here, women are seen as ornamental objects, showing no expression, but only being seen to stare at. Often, these views conflict with the true reality of how women actually feel. Often, when women are being photographed, there is a male gaze of the camera upon these women, focusing more on her parts instead of her face. It is often shown from the point of view of a male that he has when he is looking at a woman like this. The camera does not focus on the woman as a whole, instead focusing more on her body. The male gaze is common in most media advertisements and is a very subtle way of also degrading women. Women are not the only ones who suffer from this gaze of the camera. Men are also affected by this. Calvin Klein also uses the same gaze for men, often focusing on their lower region for their advertisements, adding more sex appeal by where the camera draws the eye. Here the male gaze is switched and the men are being degraded through these advertisements. Calvin Klein also influences our own male society and how they feel about their own gender role. It often has them living up to extreme expectations that are hard to enact upon. It causes men to create a tough outer shell in order for others to see them just as they do view these models. Calvin Klein uses its degrading advertising methods in order to receive attention. They have had several banned commercials dealing with what seems like a pornographic audition setting. In this commercial, a man was asking young people inappropriate questions. Calvin Klein claimed that it was to appeal to all types of people, especially ordinary ones, except not all ordinary people are viewed in this way. Also, as seen in the commercial, most people don't ask normal people to rip their shirts off. Another commercial that was recently banned shows a large orgy taking place where the only clothing that is seen are jeans being worn by the people. This commercial, after it was banned, was then replaced with a billboard that suggested an underage girl taking place in a foursome. Needless to say, this neighborhood located in Soho was not happy about this. Calvin Klein uses these controversial methods in order to receive attention and boost their sales. They also use extremely young models in order to cause more publicity for themselves. Mr. Klein's comment on the whole situation is, years from now, I believe someone may look at all the commercials I've done and view them as a vignette of the times, a reflection of what people were thinking. Sadly, this is true, and these advertisements have been making his sales boost.